I'm going to do another 24 minutes of content, and then you read me more questions. So it's a great opportunity to have your health questions answered. So please share this with your entire platform. Valuable information. Every show is valuable. And we always, of course, store these on our podcast service, Dr. Joe for the Health of It, and on my website, drjoe.com. So I am ready to go whenever you are, John. He's looking at things. Give me the clock there. We got a big clock behind the camera there. Ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you could be with me today. Today, we're going to talk about nutritional deficiency symptoms. Now, if you listen to my shows in the past, I always base my show on what I saw in my practice the week before. And we had a lot of patients come in this week with symptoms, and they didn't know what to do about it. And one lady, it was interesting, she came in, numbness in her hands and feet, and that could be diabetes because I've had every blood test known to man. It's not diabetes. I don't know what to do. Very intelligent sounding woman. So I spoke a little bit. I said, well, it could be an infection. It could be a vitamin B12 deficiency. And I said, it could be a digestive issue. You're not breaking down your proteins, intrinsic factor in your stomach, not absorbing B12. And she's sitting there and she's just smiling. And I said, why are you smiling at me? And she said, I've had every blood test known to man. They've got me on B12 injections. They're not doing a darn thing. And I'm on medication for acid reflux. And she looked at me, she goes, how did you know that? I said, well, I didn't know that. I said, but this is what these symptoms, this is how we investigate. It's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes of healthcare. We have to investigate everything. And I said, what kind of injectable B12 did I have you on? She said, cyanocobalamin. So she knew big words. And cyanocobalamin is a B12, but it has a cyanide molecule attached to it. But cobalamin is B12, and it has to be attached to something, and they attach it to cyanide. Now, why they attach cyanide, whoever they are, I have no idea. It should be a methylcobalamin. Because depending on the study you read, 40 to 60% of us have a flaw in our genetics. It's called the MTHFR gene, and that means you can't methylate. You can't add methyl groups to your nutrients. Anyway, you can't make them absorbable. Keep it simple for you. And she's just smiling, and she said, I'm doing everything the doctors are telling me, and it's not getting any better. She said, in 30 seconds, you just explained to me what I need to do. And I said, I don't know if there is a methylcobalamin injectable. You could ask your doctor if they have it. If not, if we fix your stomach, get you off the acid reflux medication, hopefully we'll increase your stomach acid, which will then allow you to increase something called intrinsic factor to absorb the B12. A lot of blah, blah, blah. And she just smiled and she said, finally, somebody gave me an answer. So she has a nutritional deficiency from what I can gather. She probably has pinched nerves as well. In fact, when I checked her, she did. But you may have symptoms of a nutritional deficiency and not know it. And so I'm going to point out some symptoms today and find out, and you may start thinking, wow, maybe I do have that. Now, we do testing in our office. We do something called a Dutch test, which is a test it's a urine sample, and it measures your hormones. Very elaborate test. Easy to do. You pee samples throughout the day, but the results are so elaborate you have to really break them down, but so helpful to find out if you have a hormone issue, and is it just low testosterone? Is your testosterone converting into estrogen? Do you have the estrogen? There's 3 types of estrogen. Do you have each one? Is it not converting properly? Do you need a supplement? So very, very in-depth. It's not just, hey, my testosterone test. It's way deeper than that. So we do something called the micronutrient test. We can see if you're deficient in certain nutrients. We do a hair analysis, find out if you have heavy metal toxicity. I've had a lot of patients over the years have heavy metal toxicity like mercury or lead, and nobody could figure out where the symptoms are coming from because nobody thought to test for heavy metals. So we do a micronutrient test. We do a hair analysis. We do a cortisol test to see if your adrenal glands, if you're under stress, your cortisol might be high, but worse is when your cortisol is low. You may not be producing cortisol because your adrenal glands, it's like euphemistic, have burned out. And so that's why we do a lot of testing on our patients to find out where the problem's coming from. And we do a general analysis and say, listen, if you don't want to do the test, here's the general advice. If you want to do the test, we'll add the test onto it. So one of the things is severe hair loss. Now, men especially and women, we do lose our hair as we get older. We have a hormone called testosterone, both of us. Testosterone with 5-alpha reductase converts into DHT, dihydrotestosterone. Again, a lot of chemistry today. But 5-alpha reductase is an enzyme that causes the hair to basically go dormant. So we can test for that, and if we do find it, we can try to give you supplements like saw palmetto, zinc, to try to block the enzyme from converting testosterone to dihydrotestosterone. Again, a lot of blah, blah, blah. But if you have severe hair loss, it could be something more serious than that. Again, male pattern baldness, gentle hair loss, that's usually a hormone thing. But it could be an iron problem. It could be a protein problem. It could be a thyroid problem. So we always want to find out why. So it's a symptom. It's telling you that there's something wrong. Now, you can get a simple iron test. It's not as in-depth as I'd want it to be, but when you donate blood. When you donate blood, they used to prick your finger and then test your iron. What they do now is, I just donated blood a couple weeks ago, they put a little clamp on your finger and it measures the iron in your blood. No pricking of the finger. It's really kind of freaky. But that's a free sample of iron to just see if you're iron deficient or if you have too much iron. Too much iron can be worse than not enough iron. And so that's why I recommend that men and postmenopausal women, if you can, donate blood. Because it's really the best way to get too much iron out of the system. Because too much iron can actually lead to heart disease and other problems too. So if you have severe hair loss, like coming out in clumps, not just falling out gently, it could be an issue. And then we need to test to see what's going on with there. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about nutritional deficiency symptoms. And if you have it, it's exactly that. It's a symptom. It's telling you something's wrong. You need to then think, what's wrong? And what do I got to do to fix it? It's like pain. Pain is a warning sign. Pain is telling you that there's something wrong. Don't ignore it. People say, oh, I'll just take some over-the-counter medications. Well, aspirin tears up the lining of your stomach. And that can cause some real serious issues. So what do we do about that? Well, you can do turmeric. You can do an anti-inflammatory diet. You can do white willow. There's things you can do to help deal with the pain without the medication. Now, I'm not saying don't take the medication. What I'm saying is, let's see if there's other options as well, so that maybe, just maybe, we can get you off the medication. I cannot tell you to take medication or not take it. Every day, we get emails on my website, drjoe.com, and somebody's going to ask me a question. They're going to say, can you tell me, can I stop taking this medication? I don't know. That's not my job. My job is to tell you what you can do to go to your prescriber and say, hey, now that my blood pressure's down, now that my sugar's under control, now that my cholesterol is normal, can I come off my medication? That's the goal. So look at these things, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, hair loss, got a bunch to cover today, as symptoms. And what is this? Where is that directing me? If you have iron deficiency, that can be an issue. You can reverse it usually by taking supplements like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, green leafy vegetables, red foods, red beans, red beets. Anything red or green is going to be a good source of iron. Now, if you have the deficiency, you can take the supplements. If it doesn't get better, you have to start thinking, why is it not getting better? And then you might want to go talk to a gastroenterologist, because a thing that happens on occasion is you have bleeding internally. You have a bleeding ulcer, you're bleeding in your colon, and that's where you're losing your iron from. And so, again, we're looking at these symptoms and saying, wow, this really could save my life if I don't ignore it. And that's the goal, of course. Now, if you have burning sensation in your feet or in your tongue, and this is what kind of spurred on this show today, was this patient that came in with numbness and tingling in her fingers. Blood test, you want to test for something called B12. Now, we said earlier, we kind of brushed on it, there's two types of B12, well, there's multiple types, but the main two types are cyanocobalamin and methylcobalamin. Methylcobalamin is easy to absorb. Everybody can use it. Almost everybody can use it. Cyanocobalamin, you may not be able to convert into a usable form, but that's the form that most supplements are in. That's why many times people will say, well, the doctor told me I had B12 deficiency. I took B12 supplements. It didn't help. Now they have me on injectable B12. Still not helping. Why is it not helping? It's in a form that you can't utilize. Methylcobalamin at methyl, M-E-T-H-Y-L, that's the form you want to take. That's the best form. So the numbness and the tingling could be a sign of B12 deficiency. So B12 is essential because it helps produce hemoglobin, which is the iron in your blood. And it can affect memory loss. It can affect brain function, nerve function. So it's a pretty serious issue. Now, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you have to consider that you may have a B12 deficiency. Because B12 comes from meat. And the reason it comes from meat is as the meat is slaughtered and it begins to decay, I'll try to keep this not too gross, bacteria eat the decaying meat and they spit out B12. Now, you can produce B12 in your colon as well. Now, of all the B vitamins, B12 is the only one that we actually store. We pee out most of the other B vitamins. Now, again, people don't take any B vitamins. You have a little bit, but if you're not replacing those B vitamins, in most cases, you're going to start getting some symptoms. That's why I do recommend as one of my minimum starter kit supplements is Dr. Joe's methylated B12 complex, because it's going to give you the folate, not folic acid. It's going to give you the methylated B12, and it's going to give you a whole array of B vitamins, and each one does something different. So the minimum, when I say minimum supplements, I would say Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders, scoop of each. We have plain, we have mint, we have berry super greens. Plain kind of tastes a little grassy, and I invented it. It's still a little grassy, so I like the berry or the mint. We have the Essential Source. We have the regular one is fine. It's very sweet. I like it. We also now have peach mango. So take a scoop of each, put it in a jar, shake it up, some coconut milk, almond milk. You use water if you want to, and drink it first thing in the morning. That's what I do. You should too, because that's the minimum supplement you need. Then most of us are deficient in vitamin D3. So I'm going to talk about that if we have time today. Take a vitamin D3 supplement. Make sure the D3 has vitamin K2 with it. Because one of the miracles of K2 is it helps clean the calcium out of your blood and bring it into your bones. So many people are taking vitamin D3 thinking that this is going to help build my bones. If you don't have the K2 with it, it's counterproductive. And then the B complex. So Super Green Essential Source, vitamin D, and B complex, that's kind of like my starter kit that I would recommend everybody take. The nice part about this is that it's less expensive than a fancy coffee every day. So give up your coffee, take this, you're going to do great in most cases. And it's in a form, a utilizable form, if that's a real word, utilizable. It's a form that you can utilize. And that's the key, too. It doesn't matter. People say, well, I get that. We post on social media every day. And people say, well, why don't I just go to the drugstore or to the big box store and buy a B complex? What's the difference? The difference is quality and absorbability. If you can't absorb it, it doesn't matter how cheap it is. And our certainly not expensive, our supplements. So don't freak out over that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend supplementation. I do it every day. And here's the thing. If you have supplements in your counter, in your cabinet, and you're not using them, they do you no good. Supplements don't work unless you take them. Because a lot of people get on our supplements and get on subscription. And then they'll say, well, I want to pause my subscription for a month. I've got a backup of supplements. Well, then you're not taking them. If you're not taking them, they don't do you any good. So just make sure you take your supplements if you get them. Whether it's our supplements or anybody's, make sure you're taking them, because utilization is always a key here. You know, patient doing what we say. Compliance, we call it in our business. Patient compliance in all healthcare is a big issue. Do it. What do you got to lose? That's the nice part about it. Now, I've got a lot to cover today. I never finish. I always think in my head, I'm going to write down these notes, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be great, and I'm going to finish all my notes. Never do. 14 years now, well, 17 years in radio, never finished all my notes. So what I'm doing now is if you want a copy of the show notes, basically it's going to be an outline of nutritional deficiency symptoms and what to do about it, send me an email through my website, drjoe.com. A little bot pops up, says, hey, want to chat or contact us. Say, I want the nutritional deficiency symptom plan. Okay, make sure you say that, because we have plans for every show we're doing lately. Let me know it's nutritional deficiency. I'll send you the protocol. It's real easy. Then you'll have it. And as we get older and we evolve, we realize that we need to make ourselves better people. And one of my downfalls is I talk really fast. And people have a real tough time following me because I talk really fast, because I'm trying to cover everything I can in this short time we're together. So I'm giving you the notes now. It's absolutely free. It's no charge for it. Send me nutritional deficiency plan, or just put nutritional deficiency, and I will send you that absolutely free. It's my gift to you. So we're talking today about nutritional deficiencies and what some of the signs and symptoms are, so that you can say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't just numbness and tingling, something's wrong. The other thing, I'm talking about this patient, which motivated the show today, she had pinched nerves in her neck and her low back. And if you pinch nerve in your neck, you can have numbness in your hands. Pinch nerve in your low back, pinch nerves in your feet. So she had multiple things going on. But if you have pain, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica, headaches, come see us. Again, it's a symptom. It's telling you something's wrong. If you want to make an appointment to come see us in the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge, or we can do a remote consultation. drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Normally, the first visit is $940. I've reduced that for my listeners to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Now, other doctors yell at me all the time. Why do you do all of that for $299? That's ridiculous. I do it because I want to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Is it chiropractic? Is it nutrition? Is it a supplementation protocol? Is it a neurologist? Is it a neurosurgeon? I don't know. Let's find out what the protocol is, and then we can move forward from there. So it's drjoe.com. Book your appointments right now. We accept almost all insurances, including Medicare. We're even on a VA referral list. But if you want to make an appointment, do it, because we do fill up quickly. And I want to make sure you get treatments. We can usually book you quickly within a day or two, but if we fill up, you don't want to be left out. So drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Just stop suffering needlessly. Let us do the analysis, find out what's going on. Like this lady, she's been to all these different doctors with the numbness in her hands and feet. They got the right idea, B12 deficiency. They got her on the wrong kind. Nobody talked about pinched nerves before, and nobody talked about her stomach because she's on antacids for acid reflux, which lowers your body's ability to absorb B12 because it lowers something called intrinsic factor. An intrinsic factor allows you to absorb B12. She's looking at me going, I've never heard any of this. Why have none of my other doctors told me this before? I don't know. That's my job. I figure it's job security for me. If doctors don't know what I know, then we're in good shape. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about nutritional deficiency symptoms. Now, another symptom is you cut yourself or you bruise yourself and you don't heal very quickly. Now, that could be a sign of diabetes. So that's why it's a good idea to get blood work done and check your blood. Now, it also could be a sign of low vitamin C. Now, you think vitamin C, well, I take vitamin C supplements. Well, you may be taking something called ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid can be called vitamin C, but it's only a fraction, I think it's 1/8 of the vitamin C molecule. And it doesn't do everything that the whole vitamin C molecule does, including your immune system. So if you have swollen gums, if you're not healing properly, you want to boost your vitamin C intake. If you bruise easily. Now, again, you could be on blood thinners. It could be other things too. But vitamin C is so vital. Now, Dr. Joe's Essential Source has over 150% of your daily recommendation of vitamin C. The good news about vitamin C, if you take too much, you pee it out. If you take way too much, you get loose stools and you get rid of it too. So too much vitamin C can actually act as a laxative, but you don't want to get to that level, okay? That's too much. With supplements, there's something called, and drugs too, there's something called bowel tolerance. Bowel tolerance means how much can I absorb? You can only absorb so much through your bowels. After that, it has to be excreted. And vitamin C has a bowel tolerance, and that's how you know you have enough vitamin C. You up your dose, up your dose, up your dose. When you start getting loose stools, cut back to the dose before that. That didn't give you loose stools. It's a bowel tolerance test. You can do it at home. But if you're taking Dr. Joe's Essential Source and eating a good diet, you're going to get more than enough vitamin C. Now, vitamin C and also other bioflavonoids, which are found in fruits and vegetables, especially fruits, help make strong blood vessels. And as we get older, everything gets weaker, unfortunately. So we want to get those strong blood vessels. And so eating things like Dr. Joe's Essential Source, Super Greens, it kind of complements that. Eating fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, that's going to help a lot of things in your body, including the strength of your blood vessels. And if the blood vessels are weak, they might go into spasm and that may raise your blood pressure. That's when you need something like nitric oxide support. Citrulline specifically is what I use. Citrulline converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels, lowers your blood pressure, makes you feel good, increases circulation to your heart, your lungs, your brain. It's one of my secrets, and I tell you that my secrets a lot. I don't keep secrets from you guys. Is that right before every lecture, every show, every podcast, every TV appearance I ever do, I take Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support. Not just for keeping my blood vessels flexible, but it gives me this burst of energy, clear thought. My brain works better. So just something to consider. And all the supplements, by the way, Super Green Essential Source, B Complex, vitamin D, nitric oxide, and a bunch of others, men's hormone support, omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential. We'll cover that if we have time today. If not, it should be covered in the thing I'm going to send you. They're all on my website, drjoe.com. And I can't imagine why you wouldn't be taking supplements every day. I mean, most people don't eat a good diet. At least take supplements. Then add a good diet to it. Then add chiropractic care to it, because chiropractic care makes sure the nervous system and the joints are all working properly. Now you've got a healthcare plan. Most people have health insurance, but they don't have a healthcare plan. The plan is normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. That's your plan. And that's where I want you to be thinking. What can I do every day to make myself better? How can I get a little exercise in today? Can I go for a walk? Can I go for a swim? You can go for a walk, download or listen to on your podcast service, Dr. Joe for the Health of It, and listen to a podcast. Go for a walk. Each podcast, we have two 24-minute segments. We post at least once a week, sometimes more, but we have several hundred hours of podcasts out there. Go for a walk and listen. It makes the walk go a lot faster, and you're learning new things. And when you learn new things, it stimulates your brain. And your brain needs oxygen stimulation and nutrition. And so you're walking, you're breathing, you're building up the muscle mass, you're helping your blood supply, you're helping your heart, and you're stimulating your brain by listening to a podcast. How cool is that? And if you take the supplements right beforehand, you even get the quadruple dose of healthcare. And maybe 20 minutes a day, half hour a day. That's easy. You can do that. So drjoe.com. If you have any questions, by the way, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your questions for you 24 hours a day. Follow me on social media. It's Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. We post every single day. So you have the podcast. You have all my shows are archived on my website, drjoe.com. My radio shows and my podcasts. You have the podcast, the social media. You have my website, drjoe.com. There's no reason why you should be suffering anymore. Now, can I help everybody? No, I can't. But in most cases, we can give you some advice. That's usually extremely helpful. So drjoe.com. Remember that website. It's really easy, drjoe.com. And it's going to be your source for healthcare. And your future self, by the way, is going to thank you for this. 2, 5, 10 years from now, you're going to look back and say, wow, I'm really glad I did that. I'm glad I went to Dr. Joe. I'm glad I took the supplements. I'm glad I listened to the podcast, because you're either growing or dying. That's pretty much it. You might as well be growing. So we're talking today about nutritional deficiency symptoms. Now, some people come in and say, Dr. Joe, my bones hurt. Kind of deep ache. And the only thing I can relate to is maybe when you have the flu, it hurts deep inside. Now, that could be a sign of vitamin D deficiency. Now, many times you may say kids have growing pains. There's no such, it doesn't hurt to grow, by the way. So if you have growing pains, it could be a nutritional deficiency, and many times it's vitamin D. Most people are deficient in vitamin D. And if you have your vitamin D tested, you're looking, they say about 40 nanograms per milliliter is healthy and safe. I want you at 60 to 80 nanograms per milliliter. That's when we start seeing actually medicinal benefits. So when you get your vitamin D level tested, 60 to 80 is what you're looking for. Don't worry about nanograms per milliliter. That's how they measure it, okay? So 60 to 80. Now, had a patient come in the other day, and she was taking a lot of vitamin D, more than I recommended, and her levels were 110. I said, even at 110, you're still safe. You're fine. 60 to 80 is like the sweet spot. But at 110, the doctor said, oh, my God, you got to stop this. It's toxic. It's not toxic at 110. Don't worry about that. So she just cut back her dosage a little bit, and she went back to 80, and she was fine. So I got to go to break. I got a lot more to cover. If you like what you're hearing, I'm not going to be able to cover everything. Send me an email through my website, drjoe.com, and just say I want nutritional deficiency script or protocol, whatever it is. I'll send you my notes. It's absolutely free. It's no charge. Send it to me through drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your questions on anything, not just this, but anything. Make an appointment to come see us. It really is the best thing you can do. drjoe.com. Normally it's $940 that first visit. I've reduced that to $299. Make the investment in your health. Your future self is going to thank you. And that future self may even be tomorrow. Because I hear every single day patients say to me, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer for so long? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm giving you every possible way you can get the information and come see us. And it's all on the website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Hey, folks, don't go anywhere. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We'll be right back. Okay. Poor John. We have the lights out. We have these new lights here. And poor John's trying to read things with his phone over there. You have questions?
I'm going through a lot of the stuff that you have mentioned. Will nitric oxide support help me?
I can never guarantee results, but if you have Normal or high blood pressure, yeah, absolutely. People love nitric oxide. It's my third favorite supplement. Super Green's an essential source of my first, and nitric oxide is right behind it. So try it. The nice part is if you try it and it doesn't work, it didn't work. It's probably going to work, but it's a very safe supplement too. So I'd say yes. What else?
Do beets subject you to kidney stones?
Beets, they have oxalates in them, so maybe, but you'd have to eat. It's usually the tops of the beets that have the oxalates in them. The bottoms have some too. But if you're eating a good diet and your body's alkaline, like taking Super Greens an essential source, the body can usually not form kidney stones. So could it be a problem? Yes. If you're worried about it, don't eat them. There's plenty of other food to eat. So, but I wouldn't worry about them. But if you are worried about it, the answer is just avoid them. So what else?
Should I take copper supplements?
Probably not. Too much copper is not good for you. Copper can prevent vitamin C from being absorbed properly. So you got to be careful with copper supplements. Now, Dr. Joe's Essential Source has some copper in it, and that's really my source, and that's all I really need. So you're good there. If you're eating a good diet, you're getting some copper as well. But don't take too much. It can be dangerous. What else?
Should I take milk thistle? Is it a standalone product or an ingredient in something else?
Both. Milk thistle helps detoxify the liver. I use Dr. Joe's Super Greens, which has chlorella, which detoxifies the liver. So if you're taking Super Greens, you probably don't need to add milk thistle to it unless you have a toxic liver. Then you could add milk thistle to it. But Super Greens and glutathione, those are my two liver supplements. If you're taking them, your liver should be fine unless you have a severe case. And if you do, email me and I'll give you a protocol for that. But milk thistle is fine. I like it. So,
Can I bake potatoes and sweet potatoes together with coconut oil?
sure. No reason not to. I'm perfectly fine with that. The best way to eat potatoes or any type of starch is cook it, put it in the refrigerator overnight, eat it the next day. You create something called a resistant starch, and you absorb between 40 and 50% less carbohydrates when you create the resistant starch. And the resistant starch now becomes a prebiotic to feed the good bacteria in your colon. So, yeah, if you want to do that, I support that, but make sure you cook them and cool them first. Make sure they're organic. Anything underground has to be organic. Carrots, onions, potatoes. What else?
Will coconut oil raise my cholesterol?
No. No, it's a saturated fat, but it's a lightly saturated fat, the way it's bound. No, it should be fine. Now, again, high cholesterol is a symptom. It's telling you something's wrong. So if you have high cholesterol, go to my website, drjoe.com, and type cholesterol in the search bar and listen to the show we did on cholesterol. It'll give you a really good insight as to what's going on. So,
that is all.
beautiful. All right, let me have another sip of my Slippery Elm tea. I'll tell you guys another little thing I just learned recently is I always use tea bags, organic tea bags. But tea bags can have plastic on them. And so what I did is I went to Amazon. I bought tea balls, the little metal balls that have screen on them. And I just open a tea bag now, if I have tea bag, and put it in there and seal it. And that's how I make my tea. And I don't know if you could hear it. You hear that thumping in there. That's the tea ball in there now. So now I'm not using the tea bag anymore. I'm using up my tea bags that I have, and then I'm going to go to loose tea. But they were 3 for $12. I mean, it was really silly. But that's what I'm using now. One less way to get plastic into the body. So that's a little fun fact for you. All right. Always new stuff for me and for you. All right. Ready for part 2? Okay. Ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. If you stayed with me, thank you. If you just joined me, welcome. We're talking today about symptoms of nutritional deficiencies. And many times we have symptoms and you become a taint nothing person. Taint nothing means you say, that taint nothing. Don't worry about it. I don't want you to be a taint nothing person. Okay? Symptoms are telling us something's wrong. Now, if I wake up and my knee's a little sore and it goes away in a couple hours, it's probably no big deal. But I say this about pain. If pain lasts more than 3 days, come see us. Headaches, shoulder pain, neck pain, and most people come to me and say, Doc, I've had this sciatic pain for 10 years, 20 years. That's not good. This is our only round, folks. As far as I know, and I hope I'm wrong, is that this is the world we live in and the body we're in. This may be our only round for this. So why not enjoy it? Why not get healthy? I love sharing this information with you guys. And I'll be honest with you, one of the reasons is I'm learning too. Off the air, I was just talking about tea bags. I drink tea every day. I drink a lot of tea. And tea bags can have a plastic coating on them. So you're getting microplastics or hormone-disrupting chemicals from the tea bag into your tea because it's hot. So what I did is I went on Amazon and I got tea balls. They're little round things, about the size of maybe a silver dollar. And I think they were 3 for $12 or 3 for $8, something ridiculously cheap. And now I use the tea ball instead because it's stainless steel. And I'll cut the tea bag open, put it in the tea ball, and then drop it in my tea. And that's how I make my tea now. Now, ultimately, I'll get rid of tea bags. I'll just go to loose tea, which is cheaper, by the way, too. So little things like this, fun facts that I'm always coming up with for myself, and I'm happy to share with you. So just another way to get these toxic chemicals out of our lives, and every little bit helps. So that's off the topic today. But that's not a nutritional deficiency. All right, so we're talking about nutritional deficiencies. I see this a lot, irregular heartbeats. Patients come in, the heart is not beating regularly. Now, the first orthodox approach is calcium. Calcium regulates your heart rate. Deficiency can cause arrhythmias, irregular heartbeat, and even chest pains. So if you have twitches around your mouth and face, you have muscle cramps, you have fractures, you break your bones easy, you think calcium, right? Well, yes and no. Bones are made up of a lot of different things, calcium being the main component. But let's assume you're going to invite me over to dinner, and you're going to make me organic vegan carrot cake, gluten-free. My favorite, by the way. And you're going to make this for me, and I say, all right, I'm going to give you the ingredients. Here's a bunch of gluten-free flour. Make me a carrot cake. You say, well, I know that's the main ingredient, but don't I need carrots, and I need baking soda, and some type of sweetener, maybe stevia or Lohan, and maybe I need some raisins? Yeah. Although the flour is the main ingredient, you can't make the cake unless you have all the ingredients. Same thing with bones. Just because you have an issue or muscle twitches or you have leg cramps, you have bone fractures easy, taking more calcium is not the answer. Now, you may not be absorbing calcium because you're on an acid reflux medication that lowers your body's ability to absorb calcium, B12, iron, and magnesium. Maybe you're taking calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is junk calcium. It's chalk, basically. You need calcium citrate, calcium lactate, but you need the other ingredients as well, or it's not going to work. So let's assume I have leg cramps. First thing I think, I'm going to take some calcium carbonate. Didn't work. Well, it didn't work because it's not a good form of calcium and you need other stuff. So many times with leg cramps or restless leg syndrome, it's a pinched nerve in the low back. And that's the nerve that controls your back, hips, legs, knees, and ankles. So the leg cramps, the restless leg syndrome, the muscle spasms, I always want to check the nerve and blood supply to the area. And then we want to alkalize your system. Because if I have an acid diet, let's assume I'm eating the typical American diet. Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas. My body's very acidic. My blood can't get acidic. I'll die. So what does my body do? My body has to get that calcium neutralized. The body uses calcium as its primary neutralizing agent. So the body will take calcium from the blood, from the muscles, from the bones to neutralize the acid. So by taking more calcium, I'm treating the symptom maybe, but I'm not treating the cause. What's the cause? Too much acid diet. So we need to alkalize the system. How do we do that? Eat more things like fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Take Dr. Joe's Super Greens. Take Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which gives you way more nutrients than just alkalinity. So a lot of things going on to alkalize the system and make it work. And you got to check the pinched nerves as well. You have a pinched nerve, all the calcium in the world isn't going to impinge the nerve. So if you have irregular heartbeat, we want to make sure we're getting all the nutrients that we need. But maybe it's not a nutrient deficiency. I know the topic today is nutritional deficiency symptoms. Maybe there's something wrong with the nervous system. Now, I see this every day in my practice, and the reason I know all about it is I had this for years. If your stomach pushes up against your diaphragm, you might have heartburn, acid reflux, burping, gas, bloating. If you have a digestive problem, irritable bowel syndrome, gas, bloating, Crohn's disease, we're irritating what's called the enteric nervous system. I'll give you a lot of big words today. I know. I feel smart today. The enteric nervous system controls your digestive system. The enteric nervous system is connected to the other nervous system, peripheral and central nervous system, the main way through something called the vagus nerve, V-A-G-U-S. Now, the vagus nerve also controls part of your heart. It's all tied together. So when I was a kid, I remember laying in bed as a child in this little apartment in the city, and laying in bed, and my heart would beat, boom, 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 and then it would go, brrr, and then it would stop, and then it would beat again. And I thought, I guess that's what it is. I'm a kid. I came from a very poor family. My father was disabled. We didn't go to doctors. I thought, it's just how your heart beats. I'm not dead, so I guess I'm okay. Years later, I was in practice, and I have 9 adjusting rooms in my one office in Marietta, Georgia, and I was in the second adjusting room. This is probably 15, 20 years ago. And I was adjusting a patient. All of a sudden, this light bulb went on in my head. Wait a minute. I had acid reflux, I had burping, I had belching, I had bad breath, I had bloating. The vagus nerve, the enteric nervous system, all connected to the heart. If I'm having acid reflux, maybe that's why my heart's irregular beating, because it's affecting the vagus nerve. So I had a doctor at the time working with me, and I grabbed him and I said, I want you to pull my stomach away from the diaphragm. So I remember learning about this like in a passing in school one time. And I showed him what I remember from school. He pulled my stomach down. For the first time in my life, my heart wasn't beating irregularly. I had energy. My bloating went away. I stopped burping. My breath freshened. And I said, it's all connected. So now, when I see people with irregular heartbeat, I always want to check their stomach, and if it's up against the diaphragm, I want to massage it down away from the diaphragm, taking the stress off the vagus nerve, activating something called the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nerves slow you down. Sympathetic nerves speed you up. Sympathetic nerves can make my heart beat irregularly. Parasympathetic nerves slow it down, lower my blood pressure. So when I put this all together, I remember the day so clearly. I went, it's all connected. And so now the number one reason we see patients is pain. Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp injuries. A lot of companies will send their patients to us for workers' comp injuries. The number two reason we see patients is digestive issues. Acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation. So in many cases, the problem with this digestive system is not chemical, it's physical. And we can do all the drugs and all the surgeries and all the supplements. We really got to fix the physical part. And when we do that, we see amazing results in many cases. So if you have a health issue, neck pain, back pain, digestive issues, nutritional concerns, make an appointment to come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Normally, the first visit is $940. But for you, my listeners, I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. And I do this because I want to find out what the problem is with you. And we haven't raised that price, by the way, in about 15, 20 years. I want to find out what the problem is and then determine what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Is it chiropractic? Is it nutrition? Is it orthopedist, neurologist, psychiatrist? I don't know. Let's find out. And we accept most insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. We're on the VA referral network. We get referrals from insurance companies, doctors, lawyers, all the time, every day. Because we do things that nobody's really ever put together in healthcare before. The nervous system, digestive system, and your diet. So if you want to become a patient, and I think you should, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Book an appointment. Stop suffering. So we're talking today about nutritional deficiencies, what some of the signs and symptoms are. So irregular heartbeat is a problem. We talked about calcium. I don't recommend it. You need all these other things involved. And we can do that by taking things like Dr. Joe's Essential Source, Dr. Joe's Super Greens. If you need a calcium supplement, in my career, I've never recommended a calcium supplement, ever. So maybe you're the first one, but if you do, I want to recommend a good one, calcium lactate, calcium citrate. So just because it's a bone issue or an osteoporosis issue, it doesn't mean it's a calcium issue. Wow, that's mind-blowing, isn't it? Other symptoms. Your night vision starts to deteriorate. Anybody have that happen as you get older? Yeah. Now, it could be a vitamin A issue. Now, vitamin A it's a fat-soluble vitamin. A, D, E, and K are your fat-soluble vitamins. And many times, doctors will give people a vitamin A supplement. Well, I have a problem with that because too much vitamin A can be toxic. Now, you can take something called beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is the precursor to building block to vitamin A. So I'd rather you take a beta-carotene supplement, and that's what's in our essential source, than take a vitamin A supplement. Because if you have too much vitamin A, it can be toxic. Too much beta-carotene, it just doesn't convert into vitamin A. It's not toxic. Now, you can get this from orange vegetables and fruits. So what's orange? Sweet potatoes, pumpkin, yellow squash. They're high in vitamin A. So that's a good idea. Now, when it comes to vision, I'll tell you a little intimate personal story here. Years ago, I was diagnosed with something called macular degeneration. Anybody know what that is? I have a type called drusen, which can eventually become macular degeneration. So I have macular degeneration. Doctor tells me years ago, you have macular degeneration. chances are it's going to get worse, and chances are you might go blind. Have a good day. That's not what I want to hear. I don't want to go blind. So I did my research, and it's really one of the reasons I started formulating things like Super Greens and Essential Source. And I started taking Super Green, Essential Source, other supplements, nitric oxide, B-complex, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids. And I started taking these supplements, and about a year or so later, I went back to the doctor, and he took another picture of my eye, and he's looking at the two pictures side by side on his computer. He's going back and forth, and he's not speaking. And I said, "What's wrong?" He says, "Something's not right here." Now, that scares you when your doctor says something's not right, right? Not good bedside manner. He said, "Your macular degeneration is getting better." He said, "I've never seen anyone get better from macular degeneration. It always stays the same or gets worse. What are you doing?" So I told him the protocol that I'm doing. He said, "Can I send your case off to like the Macular Degeneration Institute or whatever?" I said, "Sure, I don't care." And he's retired now, and the two doctors since then have bought the practice, refer me their macular degeneration patients strictly for nutrition protocols. Now, if you have a question about macular degeneration, send me an email through the website. I'll send you what I did. Happy to send it to you. Can I guarantee it's going to work for you? I have no idea. But if you do nothing, we know it's going to stay the same or get worse. That was a guarantee. So we have protocols for a lot of things. I have radio shows and podcasts that I've done on specific issues. So if you have a question, send it to me through the website, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your questions for you. And if I have an answer for you, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll tell you that too. Now, this is something new we've been doing these past couple of weeks. I got a lot of information for every show, and I never finish what I want to cover. And so I always felt bad for you guys. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting it in an email. And if you want the notes or the protocol for today, send me an email through the website, drjoe.com. Just say Nutritional Deficiencies Protocol, Nutritional Deficiencies Notes, whatever you want. I will send you what I have. And it's going to have stuff I'm not covering today because I just don't have time to cover it. Absolutely free. Send it to me. I send it to you. We're done. It's very simple. So I just feel bad because there's so much content that I need to share with you, and I just don't have the time. So I'm giving it to you as a note now. So drjoe.com, little bot pops up, says, "Hey, want to chat?" Or on the bottom it says, "Contact us." Send me your questions, or if you want this, just say, Nutritional Deficiency Protocol. I'll send it to you. My gift to you. So we have podcasts, absolutely free. We post on social media every day, absolutely free. We have the website, has over 4,000 hours of content on it. You can search it, absolutely free. All our shows are archived. We archive them on YouTube. We archive them on the website. So there's no reason why you shouldn't have access to all this information. Vital information. Could I charge you for it? Yeah, I probably could. I don't want to. I want to give this to you because this is vital information that needs to be shared. And the reason I do this, I'll be honest with you, I saw a show years ago on Nikola Tesla. And he had all these ideas and all these patents, and he never patented them. In fact, I remember he tore up a patent at one point. And he said, "This is information that the world needs." And so I feel the same way. I'm certainly no genius like Nikola Tesla, but this is information the world needs to know. So it's on the website, drjoe.com. Follow me on social media. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It'll cost you nothing to do, right? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my podcast, Dr. Joe for the Health of It. Costs you absolutely nothing. And that's going to help spread the word. So that's good karma. You want good karma? Do that. And then follow me on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and we'll get you the information. So vitamin A, good stuff. You want to avoid it with beta-carotene, though. And you can get it from things like mangoes, black-eyed peas, sweet potatoes, apricots, pretty much anything orangey. But how many people eat those foods? How many people eat apricots every day? How many people eat mangoes every day? Sweet potatoes every day? So it's a good idea. Dr. Joe's Essential Source has it in there, and that could be very helpful for you, because that's when I created Essential Source. I said, how can I put as much as I can in one scoop? And that's what I did. And it's a very, very affordable, way less expensive than a fancy coffee. And I know you're going out to dinner, and I know you're going out to lunch. It's very expensive to go out to dinner and lunch. It's not very expensive to take supplements. And a lot of benefits of the supplements. I take them every day. I can't imagine why you wouldn't either. All right, so we're talking today about nutritional deficiency symptoms. And we talked about hair loss. But if you have brittle hair and brittle nails, it could be a biotin issue, vitamin B7. And so you want to take a multivitamin, a B complex, and Dr. Joe's B complex is in a methylated form. It's easy to use. And I've never had a problem with anyone taking it ever having brittle nails, which is kind of nice. If you have mouth ulcers or cracks in the corner of your mouth, that can be a B vitamin deficiency again, thiamine. So now you're seeing B vitamins as kind of important, aren't you? A lot of symptoms you're having may simply be a B vitamin deficiency. Dr. Joe's B complex, I take it every day. You should too. So 28% of patients recovered from mouth ulcers and deficiencies with thiamine, riboflavin, and B6. So the B complex. B12, it could be a nutritional deficiency as well. If you have cracks in the corner of your lips, they're always dry lips. So that's why you want to take the B complex every day. And you really should. Now, you can get it from green leafy vegetables. You can get it from starchy vegetables, nuts, seeds. Of course, that's what I want you to be eating every day anyway. If you don't know what to eat, go to my website, drjoe.com, and type in the search bar, so what can I eat? Just that simple. So what can I eat? And I give you about 45 minutes of breakfast, lunches, dinner, snacks, raising kids, going to parties. It's free. Again, the information is there. What you choose to do with this information is totally up to you. But I promise you this. I've been in practice 40 years. And patients come to me all the time. I had a patient just the other day. Walks in the office to buy some supplements. And he saw me. He says, "Hey, you're Dr. Joe." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Remember me?" I said, "No." I said, "What's your name?" And he gave me his name. He said, "I came to see you when you were a student chiropractor 45 years ago." It was actually 42 years ago. He was a little off. He says, and he gave me his name, and the name rang a bell, but I didn't remember who he was. And of course, 40 years, we all change. But he says, "I've been following you ever since." And he says, "As soon as I retire," I love this line, "I'm going to retire next month. As soon as I retire, I'm going to come see you because I need to get my body healthy." What are you waiting for? Why don't you do it today? Well, I'm busy. Well, your future self is not going to be happy with you if you don't do things as quickly as possible. So start taking the supplements. Do some dietary changes. Get your nervous system checked. Get your stomach checked. There's no reason not to. It's way more affordable than anything else in healthcare. Most effective, least expensive treatments. Why wouldn't you do it? drjoe.com. Book your appointments. But the mouth ulcers, again, B complex many times solves the problem. We don't know which specific B vitamin it was, but the complex solves all the problems. We talked about bleeding gums already with vitamin C. Again, I want to remind you, not ascorbic acid. Pure vitamin C. It's a difference. We use pure vitamin C in our supplements, not ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is 1/8 of the vitamin C molecule. So don't do that. It's cheap. It's available. Don't do it. Okay. So we're talking about nutritional deficiencies today. If you have skin issues, how many people have skin issues? Psoriasis, itching, dermatitis. Many times it's related to your liver. So this really isn't a nutritional deficiency. It's something you have to stop doing. And the two things I want you to stop if you have a skin issue, no matter what it is, acne, anything, is wheat and dairy products. Now, am I right about this? I don't know. But it's absolutely free to do that. So no wheat, no dairy. Now, wheat is breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas. It's in sauces. It's in gravies. No wheat. Zero. No dairy products. Butter, cheese, yogurt, ice cream. No dairy products. Do it for 6 weeks. See if the skin condition gets better. If it does, I was right. If it doesn't, I was wrong. But so what? Okay? Now, when it comes to liver issues, I recommend Dr. Joe's Super Greens because it has chlorella in it, and chlorella helps detoxify the liver. I also recommend Dr. Joe's Glutathione, which helps the liver as well. So if you stop the wheat and the dairy and you do Super Green Essential Source and Glutathione and vitamin D, let's see what happens. And the B complex, of course, because everybody needs that. And let's see what happens. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So what? 6 weeks, you didn't eat wheat and dairy. You'll survive. When you give up wheat and dairy, a lot of things happen. Your energy usually increases. Your bowel function improves. Your brain works a lot better. Mucus, sinuses, runny nose, phlegm all gets better. So if nothing else, giving up wheat and dairy, you'll see all these other benefits. But with skin conditions, I've had children come in just crying because their skin was cracking, and we've tried lotions and potions and steroids, babies screaming in pain. And I said, I want to cut off the dairy products and off all the wheat. And 2 or 3 days later, the mother will call me up and say, "Oh my God, he slept through the night. That was amazing." And I hear it again all the time. Why didn't somebody else tell me to do this? I am not telling you to stop taking your medication. Please understand that. I'm not telling you to not have surgery. Do what your medical professionals say, and let's add this protocol to it. And let's see what happens. And in most cases, the patients get better, and the doctors say the same line. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. It's working. So that's why I want to be your doctor. And I want to co-manage your case. I don't want to take over your case. I want to co-manage it with your other doctors if necessary. But with skin issues, it's a big problem, usually a liver issue. If you're going to do things like nuts and seeds, that's great. Just be careful if you eat too much, because I gain weight if I eat too much nuts and seeds. So I like them. Like I remember a while ago, I got in this sunflower seed kick, a pumpkin seed kick, and I ate pumpkin seeds every day, like my main meal. And I started putting on weight. It was just too much. So monitor yourself. If it doesn't work, don't do it. I cut back. I still take a couple of handfuls of pumpkin seeds every day. It has zinc, which is great for my immune system. It helps detoxify parasites from the body, but just don't overdo it, because you can gain weight. If you have a skin rash, sometimes it's something called tinea versicolor, and that could be a yeast infection. And I remember I played football back in high school, and I remember a 210-pound football player, hair down to my shoulders, big beard. I was this real thug. And I was sitting at my kitchen table eating dinner. My mother had these wonderful long nails, and she scratched my back, and it felt so good. And I had these rashes on my skin. And she said, "What's this?" I said, "I don't know." I didn't realize it was there. And I looked, my whole body was covered in this red rash. And I finally went and got it diagnosed. It was tinea versicolor. And many times that's linked to a systemic yeast infection, which once I got myself tested, sure enough, I had a yeast infection. Why? Because when I was a kid, I don't know how old you are, but in my generation, anything that went wrong, they gave you antibiotics. Didn't matter what it was. You had a cold, antibiotics. You were ugly, antibiotics. They gave you antibiotics for everything. And it blew out my immune system. And so I had to fix the yeast infection. If you have a yeast infection, send me an email. I'll send you the protocol. I'm looking at the clock. I'm almost out of time. So much more to cover. If you want the notes from today, if you want this laid out in a real simple thing, a spreadsheet, or not a spreadsheet, but a list, send me an email through the website, drjoe.com. Just say you want the nutritional deficiency spreadsheet protocol. As long as you say nutritional deficiency, I'll send it to you. Absolutely free, no charge, my gift to you. Because I know I talk fast, I know I got a lot of information, and I know you're not getting it all. Nobody gets it all. That's why I'm going to give this to you. I'm trying to do this every show from now on, absolutely free. I'll give you something that you can hang on to. If you have any questions, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com. If you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. All the supplements we talk about and more are on the website, drjoe.com. So let's try to get to the cause of your healthcare problems and not just treat the symptoms. Don't ignore those symptoms. They're telling you that there's something wrong. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. John, you have questions for me?
I'm considering an extended fast. At what point during the fast will my hunger subside?
Usually the third or fourth day. Usually around the third or fourth day, the hunger subsides, and you get this feeling of euphoria, and you think life is wonderful, and you're living in Xanadu. So, yeah, third or fourth day, your hunger subsides. And then I've had people, myself included, where it's a challenge to go back and eat because you feel so darn good. So that's something to consider as well. So, all right, more questions.
Is olive leaf tea good for high blood pressure?
It's okay. It's really not going to be the best thing for high blood pressure. Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support would be the best supplement for high blood pressure. Some magnesium, like magnesium glycinate, might be good as well. But if you have acid reflux or digestive issues, you got to fix the gut because that's affecting the vagus nerve, which can be affecting the blood pressure too. So once again, you're treating a symptom, and you always want to get to the cause. But I would say nitric oxide support for the blood pressure is my go-to thing.
What is the healthiest type of bread and rolls? What is a good topping?
If you're going to do bread, it's got to be sprouted. So I know Sprouts, Kroger, Publix, Ezekiel is a brand name, but they all have their own brand, Sprouts brand, Kroger brand. Sprouted bread is the only bread I'd recommend you ever eat. Toppings, anything you'd like. Hummus, pesto is great. Almond butter, cashew butter, sesame seed butter, which is a little tart. I wouldn't do peanut butter. Peanut butter is high in omega-6 fatty acids. It can cause a lot of problems. So it says most of them except Valencia peanuts have a fungus on them. Sliced fruit would work too. If you want to, mash up some peaches or some plums or anything like that, that would work instead of a jam. Just actually smash it up. Bananas, just mash it up. You can take Super Greens and Essential Source and blend it together with some frozen bananas and some berries. Put that on the bread if you want to. And if you have to use an oil, extra virgin organic olive oil only. That's it. No butter. So, what else?
Are pull-ups good for you, or do they put too much stress on your arms?
Plums? Oh, pull-ups. If you're young enough, they're great. I can't do them anymore. My shoulders aren't as strong as they used to be, but pull-ups are fine. I don't have a problem with them. Now, if you start getting numbness or tingling in your arms, you probably have a pinched nerve in your neck. You got to come see us, but pull-ups are fine. Yeah.
What is the ideal amount of sleep?
As much as you need. I know that sounds stupid. 7 to 8 hours is considered ideal, but there are some people, like Einstein, for example, they slept in spurts. 2 hours here, they woke up, they worked, they went back to sleep. So whatever works best for you. It's very important to keep the room cool, to keep the room dark, and keep the room quiet. So a lot of us, when we sleep, have these little red lights, these little vampires going on, these electric vampires going on. And it's a red light from your TV, and it's a red light from your cable box, and it's a red light from your phone charger. Try to cover them up. Those red lights can actually get into your brain and affect the pituitary gland, which affects your sleep cycles. So get the room as dark as you can. If you can't, just get a mask. Go to a drugstore. They cost $5. And get a mask, and then keep the temperature cool. I like my temperature about 72 degrees. 73 degrees is cold enough for me. Some people like it at 68 degrees. Whatever works best for you. But I got to be careful drinking too much fluid, because at my age, I got to get up and pee a lot. So I stopped drinking a lot of fluids right around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then also, if you're not sleeping, you got to figure out why. Many times it's stress, emotional stress, physical stress, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, chemical stress. You have air fresheners in the room. You have you put chemicals on your sheets or your pillows to make them smell better. Very toxic. Never do that. Scent-free only. Clothes soap, hand soap, shampoos. None of this scented stuff is very bad for you. And then if you're not sleeping well, you might have acid reflux. And that can lead to sleep apnea. And so we may have to adjust or pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. And when you do that, your stomach is able to break proteins into amino acids. The amino acid tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain. Serotonin becomes melatonin. So many times, if you're not sleeping, you're not creating melatonin because you have digestive problems. So the answer is whatever's good for you. I do real well at about 7 or 8 hours. So that's me personally. What else?
That is all.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. What's your homework? Follow me on all social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast channel. And send me your questions, drjoe.com. And we will see you soon.